This mould again with some colour flip mica powders. Now, so that's what we're going to be doing today, and I'm going to show you first of all how those mica powders work. You'll remember we found that they do these wonderful colour shifty things. I was going to show you first of all with a different mould and some UV resin how the mica works, but I've just had a bit of an epic fail with that that's going to end up in my bloopers reel, so I'm just going to go straight in with this one. Basically what happens, let me demonstrate on the mat. If I take one of the micas, doesn't matter which it is, and lay it down like that, and then I put over the top, let's say this gorgeous green, and this is the mica flakes, but it could be the powder, it doesn't matter, and I do that. Now what you'll see is that the green, although I've put it straight over the top, let's try a powder, that might demonstrate better. Although I've put it over the top, it is not sticking to that silver that I put down first. See, with this one, it is a bit, but what's going to happen when you view it from the other side is that you won't see the pink on the back of that silver stripe, because it's on the other side. You're seeing it from the outside. So think back to front with these, and you'll see what I mean as we go along and make our little dragon. Right, so here's our mould. Now what I want to do is, you can see he's got a lot of little points and things in here. Some of them have still got a tiny bit of sparkling from last time. Now last time I covered the entire mould with the metallics. This time I'm just going to do the points and the claws, and then I'm going to go in here with a lot of different colours. So let's go for a nice bright gold in the points. So what you do is you do the bits. Now you know that you're going to end up with this stuff everywhere. So do the little details first, then you can wipe away any that you don't want. See, I'm just going to put a little lightly dust over the scale bits, but like with that little part I blobbed on the mat, that is what you're going to see, irrespective of what I put on the back. That is what you're going to see. Now where I've just gone like that across the surface, obviously you are going to see a little bit of the gold, and then whatever colour we put on next, which is going to be largely those beautiful greens and blues, I think. So a greeny bluey one, shall we? Now you only use a tiny bit of this powder, especially if you're doing this, because it's going to go all over the place and you'll end up with colours where you don't want them. Now yes, you can wipe them off, I mean, and I will be doing a bit of that, but it just seems an awful waste. And let's face it, these really fancy powders, you know, they're not, I won't say they're expensive, but they're not the cheapest thing on the planet. So you don't really want to be doing a lot of waste. Now I'm trying to get down into those spiky bits on his tail here, and I must remember to spend a bit more time trying to get the bubbles out of those this time. Now his spikes down his back. Again, I'm going to put some of the gold into those spikes. I'm sure there's gold going where I don't want it, so I will go around with a wet wipe and get out the bits that I don't want. I mean, a bit going astray doesn't matter anyway, does it? There we are. And I'm going to try and get into the tips of these long wispy, they're horns and things, but they look, and wingtips, but they look kind of wispy to me. And his ears, I'm sure those are ears. Probably not really. But you can be as artistic with this as you like, can't you? You're your dragon at the end of the day, and I'm sure no two dragons are the same. Where's his ears? There's one. There we are. because what this is going to do is then put just that little bit of gold into the tips where I want them. There we are. So a little bit there as well. Now I'm going to go in there with a cloth and get out what I don't want. Because remember, whatever you put over the top, what you're going to see is that gold now. Let's tip out any surplus first. So I'm trying to clean out some of the gold. Hope I'm staying in shot there. Bit of a devil for going off shot, aren't I? I'll get the hang of this one day, people. I will. I'm still a newbie, remember? I've only been doing these videos for, once I make this, I think was it about 8 weeks? Is it even that? I don't know. We've had Christmas in the middle. So you'll have to forgive me being a bit of a noob at times. Right, I'm getting this off the top just because it looks nice. Actually, not much sure it's coming off. So you can see we've got it in points. So we're going to, in these points, so we're going to have like little patches of the gold, rather than it all over like last time. Okay, I can see I've missed a bit down here. Either that or I've taken it out with the cloth. That's quite possible. Now don't forget you can add some highlights with a metallic marker pen after if you want. But there we go. See, that's what I did on these. I think it's a bit more visible on the gold, on the rose gold one. Can you see there's little bits of silver and gold in here? That's where I just went round with a mirror finish marker pen. Right, let's get this up out of the way. Now what I'm going to do then is go in with my next colours. Now what I fancy, I think, is a green dragon fading through blue to purple. That sounds nice, doesn't it? So where's my green gone? And I'm going to do it all with the flakes because I think the flakes are going to stick to this incredibly well. So here's my purpley colour, there's my green, and I thought there was a blue. That's more of a green. Oh look, more greens. It's a purpley green. Purpley green. Okay, let's use those. So I'm not going to be using the powders at all. We're going to go straight for the flakes with this one. So I'm picking out a chunkier brush now. This one will do. It's just an old eyeshadow brush that I've already got resin stuck all over it, as you can see. And I think I want green at the front. So here we go with our beautiful flakes. And we're going to try and blend the colours through. I'm hoping these will stick. Oh, they're not. Okay, so we're not going with the flakes. That's interesting. I thought this being a shiny and sticky mould, they would. Never mind. Let's go in with the powders then. See, we're all learning. We're learning. Right, we've got a greeny bluey powder. We've got, what else have we got? We've got a purpley powder. That's like a champagne one. Oh, I like that one. That goes minty. Right. Let's go for it. Excuse me while I just have a quick drink. Yeah, let's start with this one and then we'll go through the blue and we'll end up with a bit of the champagne. So we're going to end up with a few little bits of that flake. Annoyingly, it's stuck to the edges of the mould. Anyway, this one will work. What I found is that the powders stick to most things. And as you see, I can just be quite liberal about it. Because it can go straight over the top of the gold. Doesn't matter. Because the gold is going to mask it from the other side. So we're just going in with quite a bit, which I'm tapping out the surplus so it doesn't end up all over the bits where I want the colours to fade through. So there we go, he's going to have like a greeny face. And I think that's going to fade out somewhere around, is that his shoulders? I think that's his shoulders. Let's give him greeny coloured legs too. Now obviously you can be as detailed with this as you like. I've got a whopping big mould that I'm going to have a go at being really quite detailed with. Just use the really small brushes. I'm going to have an awful lot of cotton wool buds handy to take out when the colour has ended up where I didn't want it to. So I'm going to take a bit of this into his wings as well, because it's started to make its way down there anyway, so why not? And let's have a bit in his back legs, because his front legs are greeny bluey, whatever this colour is too. Now what's going to happen is when I put in the next colours, it'll start to blend. You won't really get a good sense of how the blend looks until I demould it, of course. Right, we're going in with the blue now. Which is a lovely blue. Kind of blends with the green really nicely. And this is what I'm doing, look, I don't know if you can, I hope you can see this here. I'm putting bits of the blue in amongst the other colour and I'm blending it across. Now, as we know, it's not going to show through whether there is already mica on the surface, but you can bet I haven't got all over completely with it. I was going to use some of that champagne coloured one for the end, wasn't I? But never mind. I've actually got a bit carried away with the blue because I love it. So what I'm going to do now is just go around the whole thing with the blue, which isn't going to show through except where I've missed bits. So I think this is always a wise move with your last coat. Just go around everywhere with it, because the worst that can happen is it floats up onto the surface when you fill it with your black resin, and you end up with a funky coloured back. Why not? Nobody's going to see that, and if they do, it's going to look funky. So that is our inside. Now you could, look at the powder everywhere, you could fill it with clear resin, or a metallic of some sort, or whatever you like really. But what you're going to see is this colour flip chameleon effect. And generally I find that shows more dramatic if you do it with black resin. So I'm going to get all gloved up and I'm just going to pour some black resin into there. Now, if I remember rightly, this little chap took about 100, whatever that is on the size of my measuring thing, 100 millilitres, I guess that's what it is, when I last did it. I've just mixed some black pigment in, giving that a good stir. Can't remember what brand this black pigment is. I have run out of the Let's Resin one, but this one is pretty good. I bought a whopping big bottle of it about a year ago or something. Don't mind using the cheaper stuff for big projects, especially when you're not going to see it anyway, but it is actually quite good. You'll find if you do a lot of resin projects, you'll get through a lot of black. You just do. There's so much that looks better when it's backed in black. Right, now what I'm going to do this time, because I've been having problems with the tip of his tail, so I'm going to pour a little bit in there and give it a good squish first before I do anything else, just to make sure we've got, can you see the little spikes on the end of the tail there? I keep getting bubbles in those. So I'm going to do this and give it a tap. I don't know if tapping works with resin. It certainly works with plaster and aquacast and Jesmonite and things like that. So there we go, we're giving it a bash. Going to give it a good squidge. Oh, too much of a good squidge. That's why I did it while it's not quite full. Now back to that again. Let's do it to one side, and if I tip it up, then it'll go other places rather than all down the sides. There we go, that's had a really good squidge. So let's fill it up from here. There's no other bits that really seem to cause any problems on this mould. It is just that little awkward bit. Yeah, there we go. For anybody who wants to know how much this particular mould takes, it's a little bit under. I measured it up to 100 in total, so 50 of each. I think that's millilitres. And obviously, as you can see, I've got a little bit left over. Right, it's demold time, as you can see. Some of the mica powder did float up to the surface. That's okay. Gives him a sparkly bottom, which isn't a bad thing. So here we go. Loosened the mould slightly already. So let's see what happened. I am disappointed I couldn't use the mica flakes on this, because I think they would have been even more dramatic. You can see there's a little bit of softness still there. You're starting to get a sneak peek. There we are. Right, sparkly bottom. You can just tidy these little loose bits up. This is just where the resin went over the surface. I'll go around those with a little blade later. Just give them a bit of a tidy. And here we are. Are you ready? Ta-da! And there's all those lovely colours. As you can see, the gold went where I put it. The green got itself in between. A bit more of the green would have perhaps been good. I don't know. I may have gone a little bit too mad with the gold. I don't know though. I think that's rather lovely. And then the blue, if you remember, I put lots of that blue down towards his tail. Did manage to get most of the bubble effect out of his tips there. There's just a little bit, but that doesn't matter. And you can see how the blue has blended through the green, because I went all over with the blue afterwards so that it would fill any little gaps and things. So there we are. I just need to paint his eyes in. Get these little bits of... There we go, the yellow's dried nicely. I'm just going to find a really fine paintbrush. Here we go. These are some nail art ones that I use. Quite handy for this sort of thing. Although I do like to have proper artist's brushes as well at times. 5/0 size brush is ideal for things like this. Anyway, I've got this one, so we'll use this one. So I'm just going to put a little line in his eye like so. Now all we're going to do then to really make those eyes pop is I think I'll add a little dot of white, and then I'll put a dot of UV resin over it. But of course I've got to let this dry first. So there we go. Next shot will be the finished item. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you more insight into the way these chameleon pigments, micas work. What we'll be doing for the next video, I think, well, more dragons, because I'm in dragon mode. I have got, what should we have? I think we'll do this one. I've seen this one used a few times. It's just a little dragon face, and you can get some amazing effects on this with the flakes. I know, because I have used it. So we'll be having a play with this one next and try those flakes in all these little nooks and crannies. So if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. If you click the little button below down there, it will tell you when my next video is up for you. And thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed already. Keep an eye on my community tab, by the way. For those of you who subscribed, every so often I do some things that I've been making for myself, but I'm giving them away to other people just as freebies. Just little simple things, but they could be quite useful. I've also opened up a shop on Shopify recently. You'll see the link for that below. I've only just started populating it, but it will be largely things that I have made on this channel and you've actually watched me make them. And there will also be some other useful printable downloads and things like that as well. Some of those will be made available
to my members for free. At the moment I only have Patreon, so if anybody would like to join my Patreon account, again the link is below, and I will perhaps, once we've got some members in there, I will put out some freebies in there too. Once we have, I can do a proper members account on YouTube. That's once I get over 1,000 subscribers. Then that will be a membership option too, with also with the same freebies. So you can take your choice as to which one you would want to join at that point. At the moment, there's only Patreon Live because that doesn't rely on any sort of numbers on my YouTube. So there we go. Quick promo for all the things that I've got going on at the moment. And I'll see you for the next video, and we'll have fun with this little guy.